नरसिंहताते आत्मरक्षाभरं विद्वद्वृन्दचकोरचन्दिरमहं रामानुजार्यं श्रये श्रीरङ्गसुधामधुसमास्वादयन्तं श्रीरङ्गमहिषी पदपङ्कजात्मजं सुलभाश्रयं सदा मोदसिद्धमद्भुतं भजेऽहं गुरुं तं रङ्गनाथप्रियं सुखासनस्थं हृदयाब्जपीठे चिन्मुद्रयालङ्कृतपाणिपद्मं शुभोपवीतं विमलोर्ध्वपुण्ड्रं नमामि रङ्गं गुरुं अन्तरङ्गे नमामि योगसम्राज्ञीं विजयां विजयप्रदां श्रीरङ्गाध्यासनासीनां करुणाममातरं गुरुरूपपरं ज्योतिः ज्योतिरूपगुरुः परः अज्ञानमन्दिरं ह्येतत् गुरुविज्ञानमन्दिरं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमं व्योमभास्करः सकृदेव प्रपन्नाय तवास्मीति च याचते अभयं सर्वभूतेभ्यः ददाम्येतद्व्रतं मम मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूतमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीते साक्षाद् रामायणात्मना Salutations to our Guru and the Guru of all Gurus. We'll commence our session today. In the last class, we started the 7th chapter, I think. Pakadarsanam, isn't it? That is the sargam we started. So, just to reiterate, Hanuman is now in the process of getting closer and closer to the Bhavanam, main palace of Ravana, and he is now even more worried that he has crossed so many stages, but is yet to see Sita Mata. So in that process, he is now coming across the Pushpaka Vimanam. After that, he will then take a look at the main palace of Ravana, followed by other things. So now let's get going with the Pushpaka Darshanam. That is the 7th Sargam. I think we also concluded a few slokas in this chapter, isn't it? Saveshmajalam Balavan Dadarsha Vyasakta Vaidurya Suvarnajalam Yatha Mahat Pravarshi Meghajalam Vidyut Pinadham Savihangajalam. So there's a string of palaces again, which are really resplendent with various types of Vaiduriam. At the same time, it resembles streaks of lightning in clouds. Abdin solrar. I think we were in sloka number 4, I think, isn't it? If I'm not wrong. Tani pretnabhi samahitani mayena sakshadiva nirmitani. No, I think 3. We concluded on 3. Grihani nana vasurajitani devasurais chapi subhujitani sarvaisya doshaihi parivarjitani kapirdadasha swabalarjitani. So the Important thing to notice here is the fact that Deva Surais Chapi Supujitani Sarvaischa Doshaihi Parivarjitani. So the houses there were so beautiful that they were worshipped even by Devas and Asuras together, which means the origin of those houses happens to be something divine, that both parties worship it. And it is the fact that Sarvaisya Doshaihi Parivarjitani. There is no dosham to be seen. In fact, when we construct our houses, we all look for the Vastu, isn't it? And it's a very big science of its own. Griha Nirmanam, Bhavana Nirmanam, and then how do you construct a palace, a city, a village, etc. Each of them is supposed to have a Vastu. And of course, today there will be thousands of websites, thousands of consultants on Vastu Shastra. Everybody would like to have a site in the northeast corner. If that is the case, then imagine there won't be any other directions that the houses will face, isn't it? But we need to operate within the constraints of the site location. There are certain criteria that need to be satisfied in the houses so that the occupants of the house do not face any kind of difficulties. Of course, there is an aspect of the fact that whatever we go through in our life is due to our own karma. What does a house or a site have to do with it, isn't it? So it is just that we want to eliminate that one more random variable, having the power to cause difficulties for us. So why go through that unnecessarily? So therefore, Vastu Shastra is very, very important. So whenever we do Griha Pravesham of our house, we do an Avahanam of the Vastu Purusha. And there are a lot of mantras which are chanted. Of course, when we construct the house, there is a certain layout. In what direction do we construct the Deva Puja Griham? In what direction should we have the kitchen? In what direction should we have the, bedrooms, study rooms? And where should be the Brahmasthanam, etc. So Hanuman apparently is a person who is well versed in all the Shastras and all the Kalais. So that's the reason perhaps why he says, Sarvaisya Doshaihi Parivarjitani. For someone to be able to comment that I don't see any dosham here, means that the person is himself a master of that particular art or science. And importantly, the last word, so Balarjitani, represents the fact that Ravana had acquired all of this through his own might. As a warrior, he won over the people from whom he acquired the wealth and therefore established this kind of city. Tani prayatna bhisamahitani mayena sakshadiva nirmitani mahitale sarva gunottarani dadarsha lanka dhipater grihani. So there was no stone left unturned. Okay. Everything was developed with great care and effort. And it appeared as if it was built by Maya. Maya, it is not Maya. He is one of the key architects who reports into the CEO Vishwakarma. So it appeared as if Maya had taken great care in building the palaces there. And Mahitale Sarva Gunottarani. So the best of all the qualities that you can acquire on earth using earthly substances, everything was used in constructing the palaces there. That's the meaning of this sloka. Lankadipatehe grihani. Tato dadarshot shritamega rupam Manoharam Kanchana Charurupam Rakshodhipasyaatma Balanurupam Gruhottamam Hya Pratiruparupam Tato Dadarsha Uchita Megharupam, appearing like a towering cloud. Uchrita Megharupam Kanchana Charurupam, again possessing the characteristics of gold. The palaces are decked with gold everywhere. And the important thing to note is that this is kind of apratiruparupam. There is nothing to match the quality of the palaces. And finally, Atma Balanurupam. It is worthy of the might of Ravana himself. So in other words, Ravana, he is somebody who wants to display his wealth, power, status, and other things. And therefore, he constructed his own city, country, etc. And finally, what talk of his own palaces, right? It represents his own persona. So we all know about personas, and there's a big theory in marketing. So I used to work in General Motors several years ago. For the next car that you have to introduce in the market, a lot of market survey or research goes on. And for certain luxury cars, for example, they would identify individuals who possess certain characteristics or attributes, and we derive what is known as a persona. No, this person is of such and such age, such and such income, this is their lifestyle, and so on. And the car should reflect this person, isn't it? Or the persona of that set of people. So they should feel happy to get into it and use that vehicle, right? So a similar kind of science applies here. And it is Atma Balanurupam. It should reflect the nature of Ravana himself. And that's the reason why all efforts were taken by Maya to construct the palaces there. Mahitale Swargamiva Prakirnam Shriya Jwalantam Bahuratnakirnam Nana Tarunam Kusumavakirnam Girerivagram Rajasavakirnam. Mahitale Swargamiva Prakirnam. It resembled as if it is heaven on earth. That is the analogy that Hanuman gives here. Shriya Jwalantam. It is glittering with wealth everywhere, splendor. Bahuratna Kirnam, different types of diamonds and so on. Kusumava Kirnam, Nana Tarunam. There are different types of flowers that were blossoming from many different types of trees that were planted in the palaces there. So it appeared as if Rajasa Avakirnam Girehe Agramiva. It appeared as if a giri or mountain is covered with dust. Ade madri, the entire palace is covered with different types of flowers. So it was very beautiful to look at. Nari pravekairiva dipyamanam tatidbhiramboda vadarchyamanam hamsa pravekairiva vahyamanam shriyayutam khe sukrutam vimanam. Nari pravekaihi dipyamanam iva tatidbhihi ambodavati. So he is now taking a look at some kind of a chariot which is up there floating in the air. It's an aerial chariot. So we are going to look at a description of Pushpaka Vimanam from here onwards. Many shlokas where the beauty of Pushpaka Vimanam will be described. Okay. So it was the chariot itself was lit up by women who were themselves resplendent. Dipyamanamiva tatidbhihi ambodavate. Just like the lightning provides the main attraction for clouds, in such a manner the Vimanam was decorated by ladies. Archamanam hamsa pravekaihi Vahyamanam iva. It appeared as if it is drawn by swans, hamsangal, hamsa pakshigal. So that's the other description of the Vimanam. Shriya Yutam Ke Sukrutam Vimanam. This appeared to be a Vimanam or a chariot of all the Sukruti Chetanas. That is, those who have done Punya alone will have access to the glories of life. Yeah. So, in Ravana enna punyam panna appdinu yosipanga neenga illaya? Is that the question some of you have in your mind? எல்லாம் மறந்துடாதீங்க. முதல்ல என்ன பண்ணான்? பல வருஷம் தபஸ் பண்ணான். சரியா? அதுல இருந்து எல்லாம் கிடைச்சிருக்கேன். தபஸ் பண்றதுங்கிறதே ஒரு பெரிய புண்ணியம். You know, the fact that you are able to sacrifice other things, let go of other things and focus on Chaturmukha Brahma and do the tapas is itself a punyam. He has acquired that punyam, and the punya phalam is he is enjoying the riches of things like Pushpaka Vimanam here. Of course, he may have usurped it from somebody known as Kubera. We are going to take a look at it shortly. But it is Sobalena Arjitam. That is, it is not he fought in the legal manner and took control of it. Okay. So அது லீகலா இல்லீகலா அப்புறம் பார்த்துப்போம். பட் he acquired it. அவ்வளவுதான். அடுத்தது यथा नगाग्रं बहुधातु चित्रं यथा नभस्य ग्रहचन्द्रचित्रं ददर्श युक्तीकृतमेघचित्रं विमानरत्नं बहुरत्नचित्रं यथा नगाग्रं युक्तीकृतमेघचित्रं grahachandrachitram. So it basically the analogy that is given here is imagine there's a mass of colorful clouds in the aurora அப்படின்னு சொல்றா இல்லையா? I mean, you get different hues of colors in the sky and then clouds basically. Grahachandra chitram. There are lots of planets and the moon itself is shining and looking very colorful there. That is the analogy that is given to the Pushpaka Vimanam. So Hanuman is looking at Mela Pakrar. So it is high up in the air and it appears as if the Vimanam itself it resembles how the different planets and moon they shine up in the night sky. Bahuratna Chitram, Bahudhatu Chitram. Lots of Ratnas, gems that are encrusted in the Vimanam. At the same time, different types of dhatus or minerals have also been used. So there is a aircraft engineering. What all went into building this Vimanam. Nagagram yatha Vimanaratnam dadarsha. It appeared as if it was the Nagamna mountain. Nagatrundi Agram is the peak. So it appeared as if it is like the peak of a mountain. That is the chitram that Hanuman is saying there. Dadarsha yukti kritamegha chitram vimanaratnam bahuratna chitram mahikrita parvataraji purna shailah krita vrikshavitana purnaha vrikshah krita pushpavitana purnaha pushpam kritam kesara patra purnam कृतानि वेश्मानि च पाण्डराणि तथा सुपुष्पाण्यपि पुष्कराणि. பார்க்கிறதுக்கு கேட்கிறதுக்கே நல்லா இருக்கு. பார்க்கிறதுக்கு எப்படி இருக்கும்? It is so nice to listen to this sloka itself. Imagine the sight of Pushpaka Vimanam. It should be really, really pleasing to the eye, isn't it? Mahi Parvata Rajipurna Krita Shailaha Vriksha Vitana Purnaha. So imagine that you are seeing a complete range of mountains and it is full of vrikshas. It's a canopy of trees are present there. Kritaha Pushpavitana Purnaha Pushpam Kesara Patra Purnam. So again, it is full of trees which have blossomed with different types of flowers. With petals, filaments, and so on. That's the detail that is given here. So that is again what Hanuman gets as an analogy when he takes a look at the Pushpaka Vimanam. So it appears as if it is very, very beautiful to look at. Kritani Veshmani cha Pandarani Tatha supushpanyapi pushkarani punascha padmani sakesarani dhanyani chitrani tatha vanani. Again, he then focuses his eyes on the bhavanas, palaces that are there immediately below that Pushpaka Vimanam. He looks at mansions which are white in color. Pandaram Naka, we have already seen, it's the white color. And he also sees small ponds which are crystal clear in nature. And there are lotuses that are blooming there. So this is the other scene that Hanuman looks at there. Pushpahvayam nama virajamanam ratna prabhabhischa vighurnamanam veshmottamana mapi chochamanam mahakapistatra mahavimanam. Pushpahvayam nama virajamanam. So this is known as Pushpaka Vimanam, and it is shining there. Ratna Prabhabhischa Vigornamanam. Again, it is decked with various types of diamonds and ratnas. Veshmottamanamapi cha Uchamanam. It is the supreme among all the palaces or bhavanas that you can see. Veshmamna Veedu abhinartham. So it's one of the most beautiful and magnificent mansions that you can see. In other words, it's not a small 4x4 or an SUV type of thing. No, it's the Pushpaka Vimanam itself is as big as a mansion that you can see. Okay, so the equivalent of a A380, yeah, that's the latest, isn't it? The biggest aircraft that you can think of. So here it is the biggest mansion that you can live. Adingra or a picture nama manasla varudhu. Kritascha vaidurya vihanga rupya pravalaischa yatha vihangaha chitrascha nana vasubhir bhujangaha jatyanurupas turaga shubhangaha. So inside the Pushpaka Vimanam itself, that itself looks like a small mini world. The different types of animals, birds that reside there. Inside there are, of course, one of the things is the Pushpaka Vimanam is embossed or made of different types of shilais, sculptures, and those sculptures are of birds, animals, and so on, right? And they are all gold plated. And again, lots of diamonds and gems are studded on top of each of these small. So it's imagine if you have seen the most beautiful Rathotsavam in temples. So there are so many minute details you will see on the Ratham, especially if it's a very old temple, right? So they would have decked it with all kinds of animals, as well as depictions of murtis of gods and goddesses. So there are small sculptures made of birds, and they're all encrusted with silver corals. And one of the words I wanted to highlight is Rupya Pravalaischa Tatha Vihangaha. Pravalam nirkilya, that's a Nama Tamil Pavalam Sulum Paranga. It comes from Sanskrit word Pravalam. Pravalam means coral. Okay, that is one thing I wanted to highlight. So that's the connection between Tamil and Sanskrit. Tamil and Sanskrit. So, so Hanuman is now zooming in on the other things that are present in the Jatyanurupaha. Again, he sees different types of bhujanga, serpents. So the akaram of serpent is also embellished in the Pushpaka Vimanam. Pravala Jambunada Pushpa Pakshaha Salila Mavarjita Jihma Pakshaha Kamasya Saksha Diva Bhanti Pakshaha Krita Vihanga Sumukha Supakshaha. Description further of the various types of birds that are again carved in the Pushpaka Vimanam. So the Pravala, Jambunada Pushpa, again Pravalam. And Jambunadam is gold. So the birds are decked with corals and golds. Supakshaha, Nalla wings irukkakudiya birds are okay. And they are all Salilam. They are flying around in a very sportive manner. So that's the depiction of the birds that you could see there. Avarjita Jihma Pakshaha. They had some of the birds had artificial wings, I believe. I mean, that's the creativity of the person who has done this. And they were bent down. That's the Avarjita Jihma Pakshaha. And of course, Sakshat Kamasya Pakshaha iva Bhanti. These look as if they are the birds of Lord Madana himself. Okay, so idella Kaviyudiya imagination, which again, it is the imagination of the architect, and that has been engineered and delivered with perfection. Niyujyamanastu gajastu hastaha sakesaras chotpala patra hastaha babhuva devi chakrita suhasta Lakshmi statha padmini padma hasta. Where ennalam paakrar and the vimanathile appdin pathaka, lots of beautiful ponds with lotuses. So that's the sculptures that he saw in the Vimanam. And there were also artificial elephants which had different types of trunks, which he could see there. Again, he saw Lakshmi. This is Kubera's Vimanam. We should not forget that. And he is very close to Mahalakshmi, isn't it? It comes in Sri Suktam also. So they are very closely related with each other. And obviously, Kubera has instructed Maya to build Padmahasta and Suhasta Devi. So Mahalakshmi's image is also present in the Pushpaka Vimanam there. Itiva tadgriham abhigamya shobhanam savismayo nagamiva charu shobhanam punascha tat parama sugandhi sundaram himatyaye nagamiva charu kandaram. So இப்பேற்பட்ட ஒரு பியூட்டிஃபுல் விமானம் இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு பேலஸ் உள்ள நுழைய போறார். That's the meaning of this particular slokam. Itiva shobhanam, it is very, very auspicious to look at. So if at all somebody builds something, it is supposed to inspire us, isn't it? The moment you take a look at a well thought through, well architected, well engineered, well delivered system, it is a thing of beauty is a joy forever, as they say. And that is what we need to get inspired from this sargam, is that whatever Ravana acquired is worthy of worship. At the same time, it was built by the best of the best. And how did they build it? They had left no stone unturned. All efforts are taken to build and deploy or embed beauty into whatever they did, right? So that it attracts not only asuras, but also devas, right? That's the important thing we should notice. Whatever we build should be liked by all parties. And the aspect that now Hanuman himself is wonderstruck. He is looking at this whole Vimanam. இப்பேற்பட்ட விமானம் இருக்கேன்னு ஹனுமானுக்கே ஒரு விஸ்மயத்தை கொடுக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு புஷ்பக விமானம். ஓகே, ஸோ டெஃபினெட்லி நம்மளுக்கெல்லாமே இது படிக்கச்சேவே ஆசையா இருக்கு. ராவணனுக்கு சொல்லணுமா, அது எங்க கொண்டா, அது என்னோட இது அப்படின்னு கேட்டு எஸ் டேக்கன். சாரி ஃபார் தோஸ் ஹூ வாண்ட் a translation in English. If it is so attractive for ordinary mortals like us, what to talk of Ravana, right? Who had all the power under his belly to basically ensure that he acquires whatever he wants. Tatasatam kapirabhivatya pujitam charan purim dashamukha bahupalitam Adrishyatam Janakasutam Supojitam Sudukhitaha Patiguna Nirjitam. So therefore, again, one can get overawed, wonderstruck. And then if you visit, a very old temple in India, especially the Shiva temples are much, much bigger and larger, isn't it? Compared to Vaishnavi. That's my personal observation. Of course, they are the biggest of the Vaishnavi temples is Srirangam. But in general, I've seen the Shiva temples it probably goes back to the kings and how they wanted to depict their power and all that. But the beauty is there for us to see is that it is really, really big. And it will ensure that you don't need any more exercise in the day. If you were to go through, even visit the temple once or twice a day, you will not need any other type of activity. But what will happen is, some of the temples are so beautiful that you may end up spending a lot of time hair splitting. This pillar is so beautiful. If I tap on it, I get a sound. You will forget that there is a Lord inside. And the goal of visiting the temple is to eventually go and have darshan, isn't it? So in a similar manner, Hanuman can get wonderstruck in the Vimanam itself and start exploring. This is the aspect that we should also think of building back in our hometown. No, what he did was to immediately remind himself of the goal for which he actually reached Lanka. So he Adrishyatam Janakasutam Supujitam. So Hanuman became sad, Sudukkitaha, for the fact that he has not yet seen Janakasuta, who is a Supujita, worshipped by everybody, and Patiguna Vega Nirjitam. So she is somebody who currently is away from her husband, isn't it? And therefore, she is in a state where she is not able to get pampered by her husband. Adha idukku artham. Patiguna Vega Varjitam. Patiguna Vegam. Imagine if Rama is there next to her, he would have ensured that he would have taken care of Sita in every possible way. Avaruடைய குணவேகம், ராமருடைய குணம்னா of course Shuddha Sattvam, but also the fact that he is the Pati of Sakshat Jagannmata. So he would have taken all care. And that is something she does not have right now. And that is what causes Hanuman even more worry. Okay. So I am yet to see Janakasuta, who is unfortunately away from her husband. Tatastada bahuvida bhavitatmanaha kritatmano janakasutam suvatmanaha apashyato bhavadatikitam adidukkitam manaha suchakshushaha pravicharato mahatmanaha. Tatastada bahuvida bhavitatmanaha. He started to imbibe himself with all types of feelings. One is, of course, sorrow. The other is that, he is extremely annoyed that I'm searching for her everywhere. I seemingly crossed almost all kinds of palaces. Why am I not seeing her? Is the other type of feeling he would have had. The third is, this whole place is full of Rakshasas, not ordinary human beings. Pavam, what would she be feeling? அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு பாவம். And of course, the fact that she is now in a state where, forget about getting pampered by her husband, probably she may not even have her daily needs addressed. So இப்படி பலவிதமான பாவங்கள் அவருடைய மனசுல போயின்னு இருக்கிறதுக்கு சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. பகுவித பாவிதாத்மனஹ கிருதாத்மனஹ ஜனகசுதாம் Suvatmana. He is decided yet, isn't it, to first go and search for Sita Mata. And apashyataha abhavat atidukkitam manaha. His mind went into deeper sorrow. Suchakshushaha Pravicharataha Mahatmanaha. Of course, he is completely focused. His eyes are rolling all around. He's not leaving anything there to any kind of assumption. He'll go and inquire and figure out, is this the place where Sita is? So he's completely focused on his duty. And, he would definitely want to have a resolution for this. Ityashe Srimad Ramayane Valmiki Adikavye Chaturvimshati Sastrikayam Samhitayam Sundarakande Pushpaka Darshanam Nama Saptamastargas Samaptaha. So that's the gist of the 7th Sargam, where Hanuman looks at the beauty of the Pushpaka Vimanam. So yes, I think the next chapter is known as Pushpaka Anuvarnanam. Okay, so is there any comments or any reactions or anything that anybody wants to offer? It has been a monologue so far.
Yeah, with the description. Sorry, you go ahead, Radhaji.
Just no, because when this Pushpaka Vimanam, as the mention of A380 was there, because when after winning over Ravana, when Rama, Sita, everyone wants to get into that. So they say in that there is place for all of you, so all come on. So it is bigger than 380. That is the description given in when the war finishes and they are getting into, because all Vanaras, everyone, whoever wants to follow Rama, everyone wants to get in. And it says that there is space for everyone, all of you come on, come on. That's how it is explained. So that big, we cannot imagine. So
Correct.
That's what came to my mind when. So it's so big, bigger than A380.
Yes. In fact, yeah, I mean, the important thing to notice here is the person who built it, he did not have Ravana in mind. It was built with the idea of building something which will be the most attractive, most wealthy thing that anybody can see, with Mahalakshmi's Aishwaryam doing Tandavam in that particular masterpiece. So therefore, it is the best sort of mansion that you can get into, which can also fly. Yeah. So that's the beauty of the, yes, Lata, you are telling something.
No, I was just imagining the same, like, it appears to me like a spaceship from Star Trek, like, it's floating and, it can hold so many people and it's huge. It's நிஜமாவே ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமா இருக்கு. அது அப்பவே இதெல்லாம் அப்படி இருந்திருக்கு. But we are talking about the Star Trek now. இப்படி compare பண்ண வேண்டியதா போறது for us to imagine that.
Correct. Yes, you're right. The next chapter is called Pushpaka Anuvarnanam. So it is giving a little bit more detail into the Pushpaka Vimanam. And of course, we can get it started. There are just 3 more minutes left. I can start it and then we can conclude, unless anybody else has anything.
Right. Sundarakandam பாராயணம் பண்றச்சே இந்த புஷ்பக சில தசகத்துல நிறுத்தக்கூடாதும்பா, சிலத்துல எல்லாம் நிறுத்தினா சுபம் அன்னைக்கு நைவேத்தியம். புஷ்பக விமானம் அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு தசகம். சோ அங்க நிறுத்திட்டு நம்ம படிச்சுட்டு அதோட நிறுத்திக்கலாம் அன்னைக்கு அப்படின்னு இருக்கு இல்லையா?
You are right. So basically the fact that, throughout today and this week, you will start thinking of this Pushpaka Vimanam. So whatever we conclude with, it makes an impression on our minds and Atma. So that's probably the reason why we stop there. Anything sorrowful, you have to continue with something which makes us happy. So of course, towards the very end, Hanuman is Dukkitam Manaha. So therefore, maybe I'll start with the 1 sloka more and then we can continue in the next session. Atha Ashtama Sargaha Pushpakanuvarnanam Satasya Madhye Bhavanasya Samsthitam Mahadvimanam Bahuratna Chitritam Pratapta Jambo Nadajala Kritrimam Dadarshavira Pavanatmaja Kapihi. Further description of the Pushpaka Vimanam. Satasya Madhye Bhavanasya Samsthitam. So it is probably in the very central place of the Bhavanam of Ravana. Mahad Vimanam Bahuratna Chitritam. Different types of diamonds are encrusted on it. Pratatta Jambunada Jalakirtimam. So he's talking of gold, but gold which is Pratattam, the purest form of gold, is obtained when you melt it to the hilt, so that all impurities are removed. So that is why we all do tapas. When we do tapas, we get rid of all the afflictions in our body, mind, and spirit. That is when the Lord looks at that soul, he will have no second thoughts that this is mine, let me take it. அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு feeling பகவானுக்கு வரும் when we do the real type of tapas. Likewise here, when the gold is melted to remove all kinds of impurities, it becomes really pristine to look at. That is exactly what Hanuman saw in the Pushpaka Vimanam. Dadarsha Viraha Pavanatmajaha Kapihi. So with that slokam, we'll conclude our session today.
Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsarada Chiradbhava Mukta Guru Charanambuja Krishna Krishna Sendriya Manasa Rakshasi Nija Hridayastam Devam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate
Kayena vacha manasa indriyairva buddhya atmana va prakrite svabhavate karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai shriman narayanayeti samarpayami sarvam Shri Ramachandra arpanamastu. Have a great day and a week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.